Okay, what's up? This is a new YouTube channel to go with my new Instagram, to go with my new tattoo machines. I got them about 2 weeks ago, and I want to show you everything I've learned so far and get you up and running so you can tattoo as quickly as possible. So let's go really fast. Okay, these are the machines. Okay, the first thing I would say for all new tattoo artists is needle hang. And this is really hard to pick up on a video because it's so tiny. But you need to know this. It's only supposed to stick out 1 to 2 millimeters. That's really, really not a lot sticking out at all. That is like what a millimeter looks like. It's barely sticking out of that thing. Like you can barely see it. So that's where your needle should be. I just did a, shoot, let me put this down for a second. I just did a tattoo and I had it out like twice that much. Maybe like this. Let's see if we can get that to focus. And then, so when you run the machine, it's gonna go out further than that. And so that was like my starting point, and that was way, way too far out. And it went way too deep, and I got tattoo blowouts, which I'll show you. Why don't I go ahead and wait? So what else do you need to know? Let's just go through this machine really quick, because let's say you bought one and you're ready to use it and you need to know what to do. Okay, so the other things to go through are, I'm sure you probably already might have seen this or know this, but maybe this is the first tattoo video you're looking at. The needle bend. You bend it. Okay, so see how there's that part at the end, and then the needles are underneath it, and now the needle is on top of it. You know what I'm saying? Because I rotated it. There. Yeah. So you want the needles underneath, and you bend it down that way, because the rubber band is going to sit on there, and it's going to pull it taut straight to keep it nice and straight. So you want to bend it against the rubber band. So with those on top, you want to bend it like that. I'm not going to use this needle again, so I'm bending more than I probably need to. But, and then so when you put it in, yeah, the needle is supposed to go underneath, not like this, which is how I did my first tattoo, which actually turned out not that bad. But my second tattoo, which I'll show you in a minute, was the roughest tattoo I will ever do. I fucked up a lot on it, and I'll show you what I did, so hopefully you don't do that. The next thing, it's not too hard to figure out how to set this thing up. Needle goes through here, it sits on there. You put a rubber band around this after that. You can adjust this thing to make the arm go up and down less or more. And then you stick the wire, one of them in there, and then one of them up there. On the other machine, you just stick one of the wires into this crank, and then the other one up there, and that's how it works. So the difference between the machines, one is a liner and one is a shader. I honestly don't know how to tell the difference just by looking at them. I'm not sure if you can actually. It seems like in general the shapes kind of look more like this, but I'll tell you what it does really depend on is the strength of the coils, like the speed and strength of the coils, and the arm, the distance that it travels up and down. The way that you tell though is you just plug them in. And the one that sounds lower when you run it and they're plugged in, that's your shader. So this is my liner, this is my shader. The needles, it says on the package, you know, RL or RS or M. For like shading, you want to use pretty much the biggest one you can that you have. On the back of these tips, there's a number that tells you how many, like, I don't know, needles, or it corresponds to the number on the needle, and it tells you like how many you can fit through the tube. So this is a 3, so it's like pretty narrow. I have up to a 7. I have up to 9, a 9 needle, an M 1209 or something, and that did not fit in the number 7 tip. So I gotta go get bigger tips for that one. It's just not gonna work. Let's see what else. So yeah, the difference between the shader, you'll hear shader and color packer, and shaders and color packers are basically the same, except there's a slight difference. The color packer, I guess, is supposed to have more of an up and down motion, and I think it goes faster. When you shade, you want to do like kind of like circles. In my first one, I did it like I was mowing the lawn and just did like a, fill-in zigzag or kind of a scribble, and it looks kind of scribbly. Here, I'll show it to you right now. I'm not wearing pants, by the way, but it's just because this is important information. So there it is. It's a 1-up mushroom, and I think it came out pretty decent. I didn't have stencil paper at the time. If you don't know how to do it without stencil paper, what I did is I just went to Kinko's and I printed this on paper, and then I drew all over it with ink, and then I put it on my leg, and then I put water on it, and I just pressed it really hard for a while, and there was enough of a stencil for me to, it's not perfect, but I'm pretty happy with it. And then I just kind of when I filled it in, it was really, I just scribbled it. I just went and scribbled all the way across. And what you're supposed to do is actually do circles, but if I did that, I was worried it would get too dark. I didn't want it to be super dark, because I wasn't sure about the ink and the color or shading. I hadn't even looked up any videos on shading yet, so I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't want it to get too dark. So, I didn't know how to wash out shading, do gradients or anything. We'll get into that in a second. And I just scribbled. So if you want that look, I think it looks kind of cool, but this is definitely not how you're gonna want to do most of your tattoos. You want to do circles, and then so then let's get to the paint, the ink, the caps. Okay, so here's a cap. You want to put your ink in there. Yes, you do want to run your machine in it, but do not just put it down unless you're you're hitting right in the middle and you have a perfectly steady hand. Don't just go like that and turn it on, because it's gonna fall over and spray everywhere. You need to be holding it with one hand, and I can't do it because I'm holding this camera. Hold it and then dip, and then what you do is you put the ink, the tip in there, run it for a little while, and that actually pulls the ink up into the tip, and then just wipe it off with a paper towel a couple times, and then go for it. Another thing, it's okay if you have your needle hang proper. There's not even actually a needle in there, but it's only supposed to be 1 millimeter, 1 to 2 millimeters, and if it's proper, you can touch the tip to the skin, but you don't want to just be doing that the whole time. You pretty much want to just float it right over. That brings us to the machine. What voltage. I think you pretty much just want it to be running as low as it can, where it's still going to run and puncture the skin. I guess, damn it, I thought I turned off notifications. I guess there's a test that tattoo artists do where they put their thumb on the nipple while it's running to make sure that their thumb can stop it, to show that it's just strong enough to pierce the skin and not super hard where it's going to tear. So yeah, that brings us to the final stuff I want to talk about is my second tattoo. Now this one, it was a tough angle, and so I knew it was going to be hard, and it was the first time I got a stencil, so I also wanted to, I want to try shading it, because I've never done real good shading yet. So I was just let's just get the stencil on and bang it out and just get the lines in, let it heal, and then I'll have another chance to do a better pass. And then I'll shade it that second time too. And the first couple lines came out all right, but then I was like, damn, this is gonna hurt, and I just wanted to get it done, and the angle was really rough, and I didn't have my needle hang right, and there are a lot of bruises and blowouts. And so what a blowout is, and you really don't want this, and I guess a lot of young starting out tattoo artists do this, and you know, I guess it's just part of the kind of mistakes that you're going to make when you're starting. And I'm, you know, glad that I did it on myself and not someone else in a location that's not completely visible. And I mean, you know, they're bad. They're not good. And look at how bruised my skin is, because I was like stretching it, or trying to stretch it too much, just being too rough with it. And so the blowouts are when you go too deep, and I went way too deep there, and you can see that the ink starts to like bleed out. It goes like, and it could be dangerous too, like you really, really don't want to do that. So that's why needle hang is so important. And you know, what I did was, like, I was trying to nail this line, so I basically just went straight down, and that was not a good idea. So, you know, that's what I can tell you, what I've learned in the starting out. And like, so yeah, also like, the angle was off. You gotta get your angle right. If you don't do enough research, you're definitely gonna make mistakes. But I mean, I feel like you're gonna make mistakes whenever you try to learn something. So you can see there's lots of spots where the ink didn't go in, but just to make sure that I wasn't traumatizing the skin too much, I just was like, okay, I'm stopping, because I know I'm gonna finish this later, and I'm just gonna let it heal. But I made a ton of big mistakes, so that's just my warning to you. And obviously you should do as much research as you can, but on like, you're supposed to kind of hold it at, I think, at a slight angle, not straight down, and not at too much of an angle, because that could cause a blowout too. And then, you know, different places, there's like the skin bounces sometimes and won't let you penetrate it, like, or you know, maybe you don't have enough ink on your needle, or you know, there's all these different factors. And I mean, a lot of it is, you know, just you're gonna learn it by doing it. So that's my warning, and a lot more tattoo videos will be coming as I continue. And good luck with yours, and I hope, you know, if you have any more questions, just let me know, and I'll try to help you out, because I think this knowledge should all be shared. Yeah. Maybe a couple other, damn it, god damn it, I thought I turned the fucking notifications off. Maybe a couple other things. Okay, so the legalities of it, it is technically illegal to tattoo people, because it's like a health code violation, right? You can just, you know, type in Google California tattoo license, and it'll show you all the regulations. So you're supposed to tattoo in a shop or someplace, you know, that's approved, that has, you know, like certain standards of cleanliness, and you know, like ways of like washing and maintaining the cleanliness of the machines, and you know, not allowing for bloodborne pathogens. You have to get a bloodborne pathogen certification. You have to take a course. And then so, like, I don't know if it's like a rule, like maybe if you have enough money to open your own tattoo shop, you might be able to get around it or something, but you're supposed to have a recommendation, I think, from someplace. And so that's why it's set up where there's this apprenticeship master kind of tattoo apprentice, tattoo master kind of dynamic to all these shops. And so you gotta like find a shop and become like a tattoo apprentice. Sorry, I'm just kind of like, I'm gonna be going to the gym, so I gotta put this shit away, and I'm kind of just jabbering.